Some cars are born legends. Others are born lemons. They said, built to last. They didn't say last where. They promised innovation and delivered explosions, meltdowns, and mechanical tantrums. These aren't just cars. They're the world's greatest automotive failures. The ones that made engineers blush, mechanics cry, and drivers swear revenge. Today, we're counting down the top 15 worst cars ever made. The ones that shouldn't have left the drawing board, but somehow left dealerships instead. So buckle up if you can find where the seatbelt used to be. This is going to be
appearing in movies, comic books, and even earning a cult following. The Gremlin proved ugly sells just not for long.
1 for Ford Pinto 19711980. Ford wanted to make a small, cheap car really quickly. The Ford Pinto, the car that exploded its way into history. From concept to production in just 25 months, half the normal time. That's about how long it took the first ones to catch fire. The Pinto's gas tank was wedged right behind the rear bumper. One tap from another car, and boom, instant fireball. Ford knew. Documents later revealed the company decided it was cheaper to pay lawsuit settlements than fix the problem. It cost $11 to make it safe. Ford said, now we can handle it on our own. After all, it's just an explosive risking lives. The Pinto became a symbol of corporate greed and design failure. It sold well over 3 million units, but it burned Ford's image forever, literally. The Trabant, or as East Germans called it, the cardboard car, built in East Germany during the Cold War. The Trabant was supposed to be the Volkswagen of the East, affordable, simple, and made for the people. Except it wasn't made of steel, it was made of Duraplast, a strange blend of recycled cotton and phenol resin, basically hard plastic made from leftover materials. So technically, your car and your grandma's hairdryer shared the same DNA. Under the hood, if you can call it that, sat a 600cc two-stroke engine that produced a mighty 26 horsepower. It belched blue smoke, coughed like a chain smoker, and needed all mixed with gasoline just to run. The Yugo, the car so bad, people joked it came with a complimentary bus pass. When it arrived in the US in the mid-1980s, the Yugo was marketed as the affordable European car for everyone. And technically, that was true. For just $3,990, you could own a car that hated starting, stopping, or existing. The Yugo was imported from Yugoslavia, built in a factory that had questionable electricity, quality control, and motivation. Its designers promised simplicity, and boy, did they deliver. It came with 55 horsepower, front-wheel drive, and a lifespan shorter than a houseplant in July. Reviewers didn't just dislike it, they roasted it. Car and driver called it an appliance with a steering wheel. The DeLorean DMC-12, a car that looked like it came straight from the future, but ran like a malfunctioning refrigerator. In the early 1980s, ex-General Motors superstar John Z. DeLorean set out to change the automotive world. He promised a stainless steel sports car that would redefine style, safety, and innovation, a moral revolution on wheels. The result? A car that looked like a spaceship, but drove like a space heater. On paper, it was irresistible, brushed stainless steel panels, gull-wing doors that opened like angel wings, and a body designed by the legendary Giorgetto Giugiaro. This futuristic masterpiece couldn't even beat a Honda Civic off the line. And then there was the reliability. Owners complained of electrical failures, alignment issues. The Reliant Robin, the only car that could lose a race to gravity. Born in Britain's era of brilliant ideas on a shoestring, the Robin was designed to beat the tax system. You see, with only 3 wheels, it was classified as a motorcycle, which meant cheaper registration, lower fuel costs, and no need for a full driver's license. Genius, right? Well, until you actually tried to drive it. The Robin set up 2 wheels at the back. One lonely wheel at the front was basically a physics experiment gone wrong. Take a corner too fast, and boom, you weren't turning anymore, you were flipping. Drivers became unwilling stuntmen, and passengers saw more of the sky than the road. Made mostly of fiberglass, the Robin was incredibly light, just over 400 kilograms, which made it efficient. but also about as stable as a shopping cart on ice. The Cadillac Cimarron proved that even luxury brands can have nervous breakdowns. In the early 1980s, Cadillac had a problem. Young buyers didn't want big, gas-guzzling boats anymore. They wanted something compact, modern, and European. So, GM came up with a genius plan: take a Chevrolet Cavalier, add some leather, sprinkle on fake wood, slap on a Cadillac badge, double the price, and call it a day. The result? The Cadillac Cimarron, a car that somehow managed to be both boring and embarrassing. Under the hood sat a feeble 1.8-liter four-cylinder engine with 88 horsepower. That's right, minus 88. Not 188. Not turbocharged. Just 88 sad little horses doing their best. The Pontiac Aztek, the car that proved ugliness is timeless. At the dawn of the 2000s, Pontiac wanted to reinvent itself. They wanted something bold, young, adventurous. A car for thrill-seekers, campers, and cool millennials. Instead, they created a car that looked like it was designed by a committee, arguing over geometry homework. The Pontiac Aztek was supposed to be a crossover ahead of its time, and in many ways, it was. It had tons of cargo space, optional all-wheel drive, and even a tent attachment so you could camp right off the back of your car. On paper, it was genius. On the road, not so much. Visually, the Aztek looked confused, like 5 different cars had been welded together in a rush. The PT Cruiser retro nostalgia gone completely wrong. When it first hit the streets in 2000, people actually thought it was cute. It had that quirky, 1930s-inspired design, flared fenders, and a hint of old-school charm. Chrysler marketed it as a modern classic, a fun little car that stood out in a sea of boring sedans. And for a brief moment, it worked. People lined up for it. But 2 years later, the charm wore off faster than the paint on its plastic panels. What was once unique started to look confused. The PT Cruiser went from stylish to sad, like that one person still wearing bell-bottom jeans in 2005. Under the hood, things weren't any prettier. The Chevrolet Vigo, General Motors, small car for the future, that managed to rust faster than it could accelerate. When it debuted in 1970, the Vigo was supposed to be GM's answer to the flood of reliable, fuel-efficient imports from Japan and Europe. This was America's chance to prove it could build a compact car just as smart, stylish, and dependable. Spoiler alert, it couldn't. On paper, the Vigo sounded impressive: a lightweight design, sleek styling, and an innovative aluminum engine that promised efficiency and modern engineering. In reality, that same engine overheated, warped, and leaked, all like it had a personal vendetta against its owners. Chevy was so desperate to beat the competition that they rushed the Vigo into production. If cars had faces, the Fiat Multiplas would haunt your dreams. Launched in 1998, Fiat wanted to create a revolutionary family car, something compact, spacious, and practical enough for 6 people. And somehow, they did that. The Multipla could fit 6 adults into perfectly spaced rows, offered incredible visibility, and had more storage compartments than a Swiss Army knife. Functionally, it was brilliant, but visually, it looked like something you sketched during a fever dream. The front design was unforgettable. The bug-eyed headlights, the extra bulge above them, and that short, squashed body. It looked less like a car and more like a frog mid-scream. One journalist famously said, "The Multipla looks like it hit every branch on the ugly tree twice." The Lincoln Blackwood, the luxury pickup truck nobody asked for, and even fewer people bought. In the early 2000s, Lincoln had an idea. Someone in a very expensive suit must have said, "What if we made a pickup truck for people who hate pickup trucks?" And thus, the Blackwood was born. A Frankenstein fusion of luxury sedan and workhorse that managed to be bad at both. At first glance, it looked bold. The body was sleek. The grille was pure Lincoln elegance. And the sides were decorated with real African wood panels, or nod to craftsmanship. Or perhaps a warning that this thing should have stayed furniture. Inside, it was pure luxury, plush leather seats, heated everything, and a navigation system that felt futuristic for 2002. But then came the fatal flaw of the truck bed. Oh, the truck bed. It was lined with carpet and chrome, covered with a non-removable power-to-no lid, and designed to hold, well, nothing. Tools? No, absolutely not. The Ford Edsel, the car so overhyped, it didn't just flop. It shattered Ford's dreams. In the 1950s, America was booming. Big cars, big chrome, big optimism. Ford decided to ride the wave with something revolutionary, a brand new line that would change automotive history. They poured millions into research, hype, and advertising, promising the car of the future. People expected jet age magic. What they got was the Edsel. From the start, it was a disaster wearing a hood ornament. The styling was excessive even for the 50s affins. Chrome, buttons everywhere. And then there was that grille, the infamous vertical horse collar, design that looked less like innovation and more. The Hummer H2, because who needs roads when you can just crush them? Born from the DNA of a military icon, the H2 was less a vehicle and more a declaration of war on subtlety. Based on the original Humvee, it rolled into civilian life like a tank that had just discovered Beverly Hills. It was huge, loud, and proudly impractical, the automotive equivalent of shouting "Look at me" through a megaphone. Underneath the armor, the H2 shared more with a Chevy Tahoe than an actual war machine. But it didn't matter. This beast was built for presence, not performance. Powered by a 6.0-liter V8, it delivered 316 horsepower and a laughable 10 miles per gallon. You could almost see the fuel gauge drop every time you started it. And at over 3 tons, it handled like an apartment building on wheels. The Austin Allegro, the undisputed king of failure. In the 1970s, British Leyland promised the world a revolution, the car that would redefine British motoring and lead the nation into a sleek, modern future. What they delivered instead looked like a melted jelly bean. With wheels and the engineering reliability of wet cardboard, the Allegro was a disaster from day one. Its design team dreamed of futuristic innovation. What buyers got was a car with a square steering wheel, doors that didn't quite fit, and panel gaps so wide you could lose spare change in them. The car rattled, leaked, and vibrated like it was constantly possessed by bad decisions. Under the hood, things got worse. The engines were rough, the transmissions fragile, and the suspension, meant to deliver a magic carpet ride often, gave you more of a trampoline experience. It leaked oil faster than it burned fuel. They promised innovation. They promised power, progress, the future. But what we got was the Yugo, the Edsel, the Aztek, the Allegro. 15 cars that tried to change the world and instead became punchlines in it. Every dented door, every failed engine, every laughable design, they all tell a story. A story of ambition, greed, and good old-fashioned overconfidence. Because here's the truth. Every car on this list started with dreamers. Designers who thought they were building legends, not lemons. And maybe that's the irony. Failure isn't born out of laziness. It's born out of trying too hard to make something perfect. The Ford Edsel tried to be futuristic. The Hummer H2 tried to be unstoppable. The Allegro tried to save British motoring. Each one meant well. But somewhere between the boardroom and the production line, genius turned to madness. Music shifts slightly hopeful but haunting tone. And yet, we still love them. Not because they were good but because they were bold. These cars remind us that perfection is overrated. That sometimes, it's the flops, not the flagships, that define an era. Think about it, people still talk about the Edsel, the Yugo, the Aztek. They became cultural icons, movie props, internet memes. They failed spectacularly, and that's why they're unforgettable.